Is that every month for novel night, one of our Malvern staff members will do a book talk on one of the books that we have here at Malvern Books. So this month it's my turn. So I'm going to be talking about the work of E. Phillips Oppenheim. He lived from 1866 to 1946. We have 3 of his books in the store, and they're all Stark House publications. Stark House, as you know, as Mark mentioned, specializes in mysteries and detective stories from pulp fiction that was previously out of print. So, okay, first off, I have to say that I'm a sucker for stories with a happy ending. I love intrigue, I love mystery, figuring out who done it, romance, thrills, humor, good dialogue, all that, all those things. But I really love a happy ending. So maybe that's why I just love this guy, this E. Phillips Oppenheim. So I'll just give you a short paragraph from one story, The Road to Liberty, so you get a feel for how he writes. Felice bathed and dressed, daintily and carefully, herself like some exquisite pink and white flower, slowly opening her petals. She left her room, as bare almost it was as a nun's cell, spotlessly neat, with the breeze sweeping in through the wide-flung window, a breeze which brought a perfume of mimosa to mingle with the fainter odor of lavender, which hung about the linen and the plain white muslin curtains of the little chamber. She took her morning coffee, served by an apple-cheeked, sour-faced domestic, in a corner of the wooden balcony which had been built out of the one habitable living room. The petals from a climbing rose tree fell upon the coarse but spotless cloth. Bees hummed around the drooping jasmine. The soft sunshine every moment grew warmer. Felice finished her breakfast, yawned and dreamed for a time with her eyes lifted to the hills. Then she rose, shook out her neat white skirt, fetched a pink parasol, wandered for a little time in the garden and orchard, and then, turning her face southwards, went out to meet the adventure of her life. Great writing, beautiful. I just find it really lovely. Oppenheim was a true storyteller. His work combines romance, thriller, mystery, and it often features a key player who is not usually called a detective. Normally, this person refers to themselves as a gambler, a person who likes to set things right, who likes to help when he can. This person has a calm demeanor and a mind to find justice, normally with wit and intelligence rather than a gun. The stories are usually set in England or somewhere else in Europe and catch your interest without gore or massive violence. They are very addictive in their way. As I move from story to story, the book is usually a book of short stories, I found myself pleased when a character reappeared to solve yet another mystery, or to continue to wreak havoc, but just as happy when a new hero or villain arrived on the scene. The way the short stories work is that many times they will carry over a hero from story to story, and then the hero will meet the same villain they had defeated in the story before. And so it's kind of fun to watch this go through. Many of Oppenheim's stories were serialized in the magazines of his day, mostly from the late 1890s to the mid-1920s. Many of his books, he published over 150 of them, had earned wide readership in his lifetime, but almost all of them went out of print and were forgotten as time went on. The stories in these 3 books were mostly the culmination of a long project by the book's editor, as he searched libraries for old copies of magazines that featured these stories, and he copied them out one by one. Many of the magazines were difficult to read on the microfilm or creased and worn in an archive. Often it meant him finding another copy to cross-reference the passages in question and verify the wording. For the editor, this was a real labor of love of the work of this man who has been called an originator of the thriller genre. Like all of the Stark House publications, these books are collections of either 2 books or short stories. Unlike most of the other Stark House books, which are wonderfully hard-boiled detective stories, these are a different group. a kinder, gentler, yet still very engaging thriller. Oppenheim's books from Stark House are The Amazing Judgment and Mr. Laxworthy's Adventures, Secrets and Sovereigns, and then the one I was talking about, I read the passage from today, Ghosts and Gamblers. Stark House Press is just one of the amazing finds that I think that we have here at Malvern Books that you don't see a lot of other places. They've got great pulp literature, treasures most of us didn't even know existed, with gritty storylines and tough characters, and other gems like this one that include thrillers and fantasies and very different voices from years past. They've also begun to add new writers to their line when they fit the pulp fiction style. So these are current writers that happen to write in that same style. Bottom line though, if you like a satisfying read with some mystery and intrigue, melodrama and romance, but where no dogs die at the end, I'd recommend you check out Now at this point